Okay, and we're off.
So yeah, it looks like Evans is going to start this game. Final round, winner takes all. So let's see what Evans has.
Okay, an S looking strong so far. Ooh, okay.
Vout.
Vout, maybe?
Voute.
Wow, I guess there's really I'm not seeing a great way to get rid of the V and the Y and the U, or even just the V and the Y.
Yeah, Savvy, I think Noah Asal has just said. Vout, I think, is probably the best player. Vaute.
Yep, that looks strongest. At least get rid of VU, and the sim agrees here. Savvy listed as second best. And Dave has some interesting tiles. I don't see any bingos or eights there, but certainly some scores are going to be possible depending on what comes down.
Yeah, Evans taking this game a bit more slowly this time.
Vout formed on the rack.
Yeah, I think that's the one.
So if this does, all right, it looks like it will be played. What is Dave's response here? I actually feel like this is one of those plays where it feels like something is probably stand out and really good, but I don't see it quite yet.
Yeah, my first things that I saw was Zarf, just playing above the E of Vout, ZE and Zarf, or just Zurf, ZURF on the U of Vout.
Yeah, I
Preserve
was
that
thinking
vowel.
Zurf. It feels, emotionally, it feels like, hey, shouldn't I be able to do something better? But I mean, you only have the one vowel here. So Zurf seems reasonable. Zarf seems reasonable.
Yeah, I think I would play Zurf in this situation myself.
Zurf, yeah, keep the A.
Keep the A out. Looking like he's picking those 3 tiles. Yeah, he's playing it.
Zurf, and then I guess is it Sonny's?
Yep, so, Sonny's and Zurfs. Yep, that's the best play, I think.
I think, yeah, I don't see what else you would do here. And Dave Wiegand, that'll allow Dave Wiegand to bingo right back. Well, it won't allow him. He'll have other bingos, but he will bingo right back.
Yes, he has a few options.
Okay, so
but Sonny's
Sonny's
will come
by
down first.
far the best play.
Yeah. The only bingo, actually, only 7 that's actually there. And yeah, there's really one, as I said, just like the previous game when Evans played Canats or some of those other moves, he played it instantly. So I'm only assuming that he may not be 100% sure of Sonny's. Otherwise, he would have played it by now, as we would have already seen from previous rounds.
Yeah, I think that's correct, because I believe Sonny's was 15 more points than the next best bingo. So if he sees it, I'm guessing it would have been played. But yeah, what were the other bingos even available? I saw Wayness as one.
Yeah, he has Awareness and Swankies through that E of Vout.
Swankies, okay.
But they're the only 3 actual words that can be played as a bingo in this move. But yeah, Evans, you can see he's kind of agonizing over this move here. He's obviously not sure of Sonny's. It is a bit of a weird looking word also, so you might be thinking of other words very similar to that. But since we're sat here with perfect knowledge of having any program open to check words, and they don't, it's not always easy when you're sat there in the final round of a tournament, especially when you know that any mistake here can cost you the game, especially on move 2. So he needs to be sure what he plays is good.
And he's shaking his head. He's sometimes got his hand on his face, and he's agonizing about something, I think.
But either way, I'm not sure if he found any other bingo where we said about awareness or swankies. But playing something like yawns and Zarfs actually isn't that bad either.
It's opting for ways instead. WAYS, which is probably one of the best options if you're not bingoing.
Yeah, I mean, it sets up his other ass for sways as well, so he's keeping things open and his options open. But yeah, now he doesn't have any vowels.
Yep,
so
that's going to be
how quick things can turn.
And even to the E, I'm not immediately seeing anything.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything there either. But Dave does have Peacock and Aways, which will score 93 points.
Yep, that seems pretty good. Peacock doesn't fit. Peacock. Okay, so he's going to go with Peacock.
Yeah, he's found it.
Will this give Evans anything?
I don't think so.
Doesn't look like it.
Only 9. Evans. I mean, sorry, the only 8 that Evans could get is pantings. So he needs an A or an I as a floater, and there isn't one on the board right now. So he's going to have to make do with just playing on something like
Pong or Pang. It's one of those, it seems.
I believe so.
Yeah, I don't think you can play anything else really. Okay, well,
so
maybe, Evans has some chances maybe with this draw from Dave.
Yep, it'll slow him down for sure. But I think Evans has to play Pong or Pang here. That's really the only 2 moves that does the trick for him at this stage.
I guess maybe Pangs might be slightly preferred since it gives you an S hook, but
yeah, I would say so. I would say Pang is slightly better. And you also have an A, I think an A hook also, but hopefully he gets an A or something.
Panga. Noah SL44 asking if Pont is any better to the O, keeping NSG blank. I'd prefer NST blank.
Yeah,
I think you don't need the NG combo here. It should be strong enough. He's saying for triple triples maybe. Let's start with SK and end in ING. It's a possibility. And I guess Dave here is going to play, I don't know, loud maybe.
Yeah, looks like the best move. I don't know what other word you can play. It's really nothing.
The good thing about having a lot of repeats is that there's not as many words you have to find.
Exactly. Yeah, there's very few options, so you should be able to cycle through all the possible candidate players very quickly. I mean, OUD is an interesting idea also, keeping the L if you want to keep a consonant. And it also doesn't open up anything in the top left corner. But again, it might not be that big a deal at this stage.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe you do want to keep that consonant. Either way, the leave is not going to be great. And so Evans has some slightly more flexible tiles here, and he will bingo, I think. But with, I mean, his bingos don't look great, at least the ones that I'm seeing. Actually, I only see one bingo for Evans. I'm sure there's probably a few.
Yeah, I'm only seeing like thinnest on the E
Thinnest.
of Vout, but that's about all I
Titans.
see.
Titans is another one through the E.
Yeah.
Sort of similar sort of play, which is not going to score a lot.
Yeah, I don't see any sevens in his rack either.
So he may have no choice.
Yeah, just to take a face value bingo.
And it's not desperate enough to do something nuts like, you know, play off and hope for a triple. At this score, he's really, you know, he's just going to take whatever bingo he can get and move on.
Yeah, after these next two moves, they're going to be pretty level on score anyway. So nothing to worry about at this stage.
Wow, an exchange 7.
That's a very aggressive move actually from Dave. He's obviously wanting to, over the next few moves, average a much higher score than just scoring 22 for Loud or 19 for Oud. But ironically, he's exchanged 2 of the U's that he had, and he just picked up the Q.
You hate to see it.
Yeah, you hate to see it, but it happens, and it's just happened right here.
So and yeah, the rest of the rack is not bad except for the Q. So if Evans makes some play, Skint. Wow. Simming better than the bingos, which makes sense. The bingos score so little, and they open so much. So bingos like Thinnest and Titans are going to give a spot for the Q, and Skint is not. So Skint might actually force another exchange, even, honestly.
Yeah. I don't think I would ever have played Skint over any of the bingos in a million years, but that's interesting to know.
And Jucko666 noting Skint extends to Skintest, which might be important later in the game, maybe for an end game, if the board is more closed up. Maybe Evans should just fish the N for skittish or something.
Yeah, it's definitely one tile away from something good.
Skint also extended to skin tight, as Jelamokas has noted.
Oh, yes. But yeah, it looks like he's playing Thinnest.
Thinnest is the choice. So does this mean... Oh, okay. So is Dave Wiegand going to play XWords, or is he going to dump the Q?
I think he has to dump the Q here.
I think that's the question. Will it be the score 6? 44 versus 11?
Or even Chin, Q-I-N.
Oh, Q-I-N. Ooh. Do you want to give up the N, though, keeping the G? Maybe to create the S hook, you have to.
Maybe so, yeah. This opens another bingo lane on the right side of the board, and you already have the S on Pangs. So it might be worth getting rid of another consonant here in hope that you actually pick out another vowel.
So the top options there, according to Quack, were actually just exchanging again, exchanging DQ.
Oh, yeah, because it likes the fact that the I is open.
Yeah, because the I is open. But that we know that, well, I mean, the K is open too. So if Evans plays something like Kilorad or something similar, or something parallel to the P. Okay, Dave opting for Skeg.
Wow, okay.
Keeping RQND.
That's interesting. I don't think I would have ever played Skeg in this position, personally. That is a strange move.
Though it seems to have somewhat worked out for him. He's drawn the I and another S.
Yeah, it turns out okay for now at least. But yeah, it's definitely not a move that I would have expected Dave to play here. I probably would have seen him get rid of the Q or exchange. Actually, I actually prefer the exchange more than Skag.
I think exchanging might be a tough play for me to make, but I might have to do it.
Yeah, I mean,
because of the K and the P in Peacock, the I does stay open sometimes, and that's when that rack becomes really powerful.
That's true, exactly. But keeping RQND after Skag, I mean, I don't know what you're expecting. I mean, you could get Kinder through that Eye of Thinnest, but you're really putting all your hopes on getting an A to bail out, and if you don't, then you're kind of stuck with it again. And you're only playing 3 tiles as well. You're only playing 3 tiles, so
yeah,
you're not
and
all that likely to get it.
Getting stuck with consonants.
Exactly.
So what is Evans looking at here? Okay, so do it looking like the top play.
Yeah, that's a very strong play.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
A lot of these are also nice and defensive. Which is certainly fine here. After your play, you're probably going to be up by a bit, so the score will be basically even. So something like audio or do it would be really strong. It looks like he's considering Oud, probably next to Peacock here.
Yeah, I think all of these options are very close in terms of how strong they are. I don't think there's any specific move here out of those 3 or 4 that we mentioned are going to be wrong moves. But I don't mind Oud here for sure. I think I would rather play Oud rather than Loud. You can also put Allowed, I guess, but a bit more attacking, I guess, and more dangerous. But I think Oud is good.
Okay, he does opt for Loud.
Okay, that's fine.
But I might prefer just to block the I. Well, yeah. I don't know, yeah, actually. It's tough.
Yeah, I think if you're going to block the I, I think you play audio. I think audio, pound for pound, probably is the best move. But you know, you got some good tiles, so you could potentially pick up something good.
Okay, yeah, and this gives QI for Dave. That seems, yeah, that's the pretty obvious play there.
Yep.
Saving him some time, playing quickly, sending it right back to Evans, who has drawn some repeats.
Yeah, so you could play something like Imari and QI or Marari. That would actually get rid of all the letters that he doesn't want. I think I would favor Imari here, keeping AR.
That looks pretty strong.
But he's not
opted for Raimi. So keeping another I. Yeah, you probably wanted to get rid of that. There is still more eyes to come. And AR is a little more balanced. So it's back to Dave, who is getting closer and closer to a bingo. Jelamokus noting Dinitro through the I is a double-double for 32. Keeping the S, though it does not take an S, so there would be an S hook on the board, but that would still be strong. Can he play something even stronger, making QIN?
So like, Don is maybe the other option really here.
Yeah,
it's only 2 points
Don
fewer.
or Din. I think I might prefer that slightly more. Slightly stronger leave, and
I think so.
Use a few
it keeps the board a little bit more open too, yeah.
So all those plays are at the top, near the top. Din at the very top, according to Quackle. I think Din or Don. Again, which tile you play is going to depend a lot on what's left in the bag.
Yeah, so Din will give away that X hook. that MIX, which we can see that Evans already has. And playing Don would not give anything away because MOZ would be the real thing to be worried about, but we've already got the Z already on the board. So, and generally keeping an O is better than I. So, I mean, generally keeping an I is better than O. So I would play Don in this situation, just knowing that it's better for your rack and also a little bit less dangerous. Because you can see here, if he played Din, he would give away something like Ox for mid 40 points. So it's a good play here. This is a very small details that can make a big difference in the end.
Yep, and yeah, with those tiles, definitely the I think is slightly more preferred in a total, all else being equal in a total vacuum. Because if you happen to pick up an E with that rack, it becomes very strong.
Exactly. Yes. Unfortunately, there's no B on the board for Bijou, which really would get rid of everything. But maybe you can play like something like Jour, Jour, on the left of Rami. Puts the J out there, but it's difficult to really do anything. I mean, you can also, it sets up Aji the next move if you really want to play that.
Oh, those are possibilities. Not a whole lot of other options on this board. Can you make something fancy with like Zin? Not quite.
So another option, another kind of cute play is to play something like Ouija, just to the left of Thinnest, or the T of Thinnest. So you could put the A next to the triple letter score with the X in hand, and hoping that you would pick out some A, any of the vowels basically, apart from the E, and you would be setting yourself up for a good 50-point play.
Oh. Yeah, very, very nice. Very nice. I guess you'd sort of be banking on redrawing an A or an O if you made a play like that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you can also get the I or the U that's there.
Yeah, that too.
But the chances that it would get blocked are probably pretty high if your opponent has an S, which we can see Dave does have. But it could be those kind of small players, maybe potential setup players, which could make the difference in the end in terms of tempo.
Evans opting for Hijra from the H.
Interesting.
And that takes another H.
Yes.
So that is still out. And that gives Dave Wiegand Waitrons actually. So he'll be happy to see that.
That's true.
Yeah, that's gonna come down. Picking up some more not so great tiles. He'll be looking to play Rue probably somewhere next turn, depending on how you pronounce that. Noah SL44 also suggesting Tux from the T and Thinnest to set up Ryoja possibly. It's another interesting option.
Yeah, Hidra's definitely a very interesting move. Just keep OUX, which isn't particularly great. And you can see now combined with another O and U, it's not looking good.
Chilamoka is telling me that Rue is pronounced correctly, but I'm not pronouncing, I guess should I say Rioja? That might be more correct, but I have no idea. I apologize for butchering that word. So yep, that comes down. Yeah, I'm not sure what Evans is looking to do here. I mean, I'd really want to play Rue, but I don't see where that goes down anywhere reasonable.
I mean, it might just be Tux again, but then now you have two options for Tux.
Yeah, which one? Because I don't see a huge difference between either, but that might be your best option here.
Yeah, I mean, I probably would still play it on the T of Thinnest. It also sets up tuxes if you can find something to go in between Waitrons and tucks.
Ooh, and that's going to work out really well for Dave Wiegand, who probably will play BD.
Oh, yes, that's true.
At the 6 or the 5 parallel. So Sim is saying Oxo, winning chances, as we can see, are looking great.
Run out. This is an interesting one. What about Giorno? That's an interesting one as well. Yeah, not many good options here for Evans. He's now 61 behind at this stage.
Which doesn't sound that bad, but his rack is making it definitely way more severe than the score would seem. And even though Dave is stuck with 2 I's, 3 E's, the B and the D actually make it somewhat flexible, given that he has the words BD and BD. He can tack the E on the end or keep one. Exactly, he has places for it. So, okay, Tux is the play here.
Yeah, so the problem with playing Tux on the right side of Waitrons rather than on the right side of Thinnest is that putting that X out there actually kind of kills off that right side of the board. So now you can't really bingo. There's no real bingo lane over there anymore. You're now forced to bingo in the bottom right quadrant. So it kind of takes that out instead of potentially opening up a bingo lane, maybe too short, or on the N column, for example, which are now not possible to do. So just stick Tux there now. You can't do any bingo to the right of that hitting the triple. It just kind of takes it out completely. But BD looks like it's a good play here. BEEDI, only taking the E hook.
Yeah. So would you keep the E or put the E on that?
Ooh, B.
I guess
all
S's are gone and all blanks are gone. So actually, BD would have no hooks. If you put it down.
I mean, there's probably a bunch of other E's left.
Sim is saying E'd or I'd at E2, making ADD and MOE.
Yeah, I think I would play the E here. I mean, you can see on the board at this moment, there's only 3 E's that have been played.
Oh, wow.
Oh, he's actually playing it there
very aggressively. Okay. Putting the B in the triple. I guess he's not too worried about bingos through the B, but
doesn't look like it.
Maybe it's aggressive.
Unbolt, is that good?
Unbolt, yep, unbolt.
So that's probably the play there. I mean, unless he wants to try and carve out another opening somewhere else.
Unboot? No. You want to get rid of the L probably.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking that you was talking about BD to the left of Waitrons.
Yeah.
I wasn't looking at the top part of the board.
No, neither was I. I was not even considering opening that. And it looks like Evans is going to play unbolt here.
Unbolt. Yeah.
It seems best.
I think so.
Okay, so if I'm at this point, if I'm Dave, definitely looking at how can I really well, he's not up by like too much, but I would be thinking about how to shut down the remainder of the board. Maybe something like Gaily parallel to Waitrons, or he has the NY. I don't know if he can cash that to the double word.
So you could play Yogi.
Yogi through the O. That seems strong.
It takes out all the 7s parallel to Waitrons.
I don't know. I'd be worried about. I'd have to worry now about that line through the E. Maybe it might be too paranoid at the score. He might because he's also worried about being outrun as well. Yeah.
So I think from Dave's point of view, there's actually 5 E's unseen. So putting 2 E's as a floaters out there is probably not disastrous, knowing that there's so many E's unseen, and then the chances are that Evans will have an E already, so having 2 E's in a word is going to be a bit more difficult. But yeah, I think Yogi is probably pretty good. And as I said, 5 E's unseen, it's likely you're going to pick one up yourself for, after this. So I wouldn't be too worried about it. There's really no other places to bingo or any high scoring places to bingo after Yogi, apart from the O column. And every other bingo that you play will open up something else for you.
And
okay, so
JG
playing...
as you're seeing on the sim.
That's a good move. Yeah, that's
decent.
A strong move also.
Cleaning up the rack, scoring some points, and blocking the parallel plays, and also not creating any new openings. So this is, I actually like this quite a lot.
Yeah, this is a very good move. I think I would actually, a second thought, I think I would prefer JG over Yogi. I didn't see JG earlier.
And Evan's sitting on a few too many vowels. At this point, I'm really not sure. Yeah, because it's not desperate enough for you just need to only fish. I think he still needs to score somewhat to try and stay in the game. But
yeah.
Really
so I think he needs to get rid
here.
of those 2 O's that really are going to slow him down. And it's a matter of whether or not he's going to play something that opens up the board with the 2 O's, or if he's just going to try and get a few points with it. He's now in a spot where he's 64 behind. So if he actually loses too many points here, he might not even win with another bingo. So he's in a spot now where he does need to not slow down too much, but he does definitely need a bingo at this stage.
So would I mean, I'd want to fish off something like 0-0, but I'd be concerned if it doesn't score enough to keep up. But you might not have many other great options with this rack.
Yes, you need to be careful also because there's so few bingo lanes on the board now that any sort of play, I don't know. I mean, just for example, like a 3-letter word through the S of Waitrons might end up killing the game off completely, and you have no choice. But playing 0-0, you could play in between the 2 ends of Thinnest and play Noi and Nog. That gets 13 points, which again keeps them about 50 behind. But that would be the best way potentially to get rid of those O's if he wants to do that.
I was looking at something like Goo from Pang. But that might be too crazy. The spot it opens is not really that high scoring, and it gives back a huge triple, but it makes another very, very easy to use line. So maybe it's something you would consider, but it seems pretty desperate.
Yeah, I think so. As I said, we're 64 behind from Evans's point of view, and he would only be 60 behind after Goo. So any sort of high scoring play from there would actually basically could also be game over from that also. He's just going to be falling too far behind.
So
but
suggest
so it's a good interesting move. But he's also playing 0-0 here. Yeah.
On the rack, yep. So and this gives Dave Thivel probably.
Yeah.
Which will triple the H, double the word. But I mean, this probably is the most reasonable option here. Making a reasonable line that will actually score something if you hit it.
Yes, I think so. And again, this goes back to what I said about playing tucks on the right side of Waitrons. If you play tucks where Thinnest was, you can actually bingo from the other way from 0-0 upwards. And now that kind of kills that off. So again, it's kind of those small differences that can make a big difference in the end, because then he would actually have Lydia and Or, and now he doesn't have that play anymore.
Yeah, that's and after, for example, I guess after Thivel, it wouldn't fit.
Yeah.
But if maybe, if Dave puts a T, I guess making an OT, maybe Lydia would fit if there were a vowel in the next place.
Exactly.
But it's very it's a very hypothetical. Yeah, tucks. That definitely killed the top right for sure.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, of course, that JG wouldn't have fit either, and obviously, instead of hypothetical, that other things would have been a bit different. But just not having the opportunity to go up and down from the middle of the board where 0-0 is really restricts everything you have. and now you're at a stage where you're opening the bottom right corner of the board, which is actually quite easy to block. And Thibault, with no S's unseen, is going to score so much and will outrun any bingo that Evans will put down or can put down.
Yeah, Thibault seems to be pretty much game over. If you're not playing this, what would you be doing? And it looks like Dave has formed this word. He's probably just making sure, checking his other options. But this seems, yeah, this seems to be more or less game ending.
Yeah,
I think Evans would have needed to bingo like this turn to maybe have some chances, but it doesn't look like Lydia is going to fit anywhere, and Dave is going to have at least one more turn to block down the board even more.
Yeah, I mean, he's now 99 ahead.
And he's drawn a bingo.
Oh, yes. That's true. Through that L Thibault.
So yeah, I mean, a Febrile will fit there if it stays open. But yeah, and that will absolutely be game over if that comes down.
For sure. And I'm not sure how often that will get blocked. I mean, maybe he might play something like DE to the right, to the left of Thibault, DE, DE, and EL to open a bingo lane on the triple, for example. That might be the only way that he can come back. But again, almost 100 behind. And he's going to need a bingo, like a decent scoring bingo and another high scoring play to even have a shot at overtaking Dave in this game. And I don't really see that happening in this stage. And especially when he can play beef, Dave can play beef to the right of the THI of Thibault. He's going to get more than 40 points. So Evans will need to make up a deficit of like 140 odd points. So he needs 2 bingos, and it's not possible here with only 5 in the bag, I believe.
Even if Febrile is blocked, that's going to be the play here, and it's going to make it insurmountable. But you mentioned DE. What would be the? I mean, it's really tough. I should say I don't really think this game is winnable. But what would be the idea behind DE? I mean, I think Dave would just block that immediately.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, it's just that you can't really do anything on the triple. You're so far behind. I mean, I think you just have to try and do something to open up the triple word score at the bottom, and just hope that Dave doesn't do anything there. But with the board so closed and blocked, that is the obvious option, the obvious place to go to block. And I can't see how Evans will be able to land any sort of bingo on this board, even if he does open that. But it looks like he's playing lead.
He's playing lead. This will put 1 in the bag, and then so I expect Dave to see his available bingo. And I mean, he'll be drawing 1 tile.
And he has Fireable as well, which also plays.
Oh, yeah, both of those are gonna fit. And which one would be better here? Okay, so he chooses a Febrile.
Yeah, I don't think he really managed that much.
Yep. Either way.
Yeah, it's game over by that point.
We normally would be talking about spread considerations, but this is the final game. All that matters to Dave here is the win. So
yeah, shame that Coremia doesn't quite fit underneath Afterbrile.
Oh wow.
Almost.
Yeah, almost.
Granted, still not enough points, but it would have been nice.
Right, so we'll see the last few plays here, and mostly a formality, I guess.
Yep, it looks like it. That's that, and looks like Dave Wiegand is going to win the Austin, Texas tournament. So congratulations to Dave. Good job.
Congrats to Dave.
Yeah, very well played throughout this whole entire tournament. Top class player, as we all know, and yeah, he did great.
Strong play from Dave. Strong play from Evans too. I think I saw someone earlier in the Twitch chat saying that Evan said he was trying to just stay above a 500 win ratio. So trying to at least, have a winning record. And well, he's certainly done that. He was in it until the very last game. So strong play by both players. It's been great to watch and commentate.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of very high class players in this tournament, and it's just a pleasure to watch. Just Scrabble played at its greatest form.
Well, I might argue that the greatest form of Scrabble is the format on Woogles where you're playing with 15 seconds, 5-second increments, triple challenge. But this is good too.
This is comes a close second, I guess.
And Dave finding is what I imagine is the highest scoring spot for the end, and that will do it for the Austin, Texas Tile XWords tournament. We have our winner, Dave Wiegand.
I had Ramen as well.
Ramen being the best outplay.
It's a shocking miss from Dave.
I'm sure he'll be kicking himself for that one.
Yeah,
he will be to come.
I know he's gonna look hard at himself in the mirror and be like, "How did I miss that?" But yeah, well done to Dave. Commiserations to Evans. I mean, obviously he was leading this tournament at just before this final round. He did have a 10-3 record, so very, very, very strong performance from Evans in this tournament.
And James pointing out the better play from Dave, who it looks like just sort of shrugged and nodded his head. So maybe he'll realize, maybe he'll be devastated later, but he seems okay now.
Okay, so James is saying that Evans saw Sonny's, but he chickened out of it.
Okay, so he was agonizing over something, we believed, and that was in fact it. And that, I guess, that turned out to be sort of a turning point, because he didn't bingo next turn. He had to play off Pang and only then get Thinnest, which was quite a low score instead of the 91 that he could have gotten for Sonny's. So that's a big swing there.
Yeah, exactly. It delays your bingo by 2 moves, and if we look at his following moves of Loud, Rami, Hijra, Tux, he didn't have any good tiles after that really got close to a bingo. So the whole game would have changed at that stage, and Peacock wouldn't have been played in that spot for quite as many points either. So who knows what would have happened? But Sonny is definitely the turning point of this game, and yeah, who knows what would have happened?
And I'm getting news in chat that it looks like Coco will be clipping these games and adding them to the Coco YouTube channel over the next few weeks. So if you're watching to this on YouTube, hi, welcome. Thank you for watching. Comment about what you thought your favorite play was, or anything awesome about the game. Thanks everyone for watching. Appreciate it.